Hi, welcome back to the Athens Film Fest 2025 Creator Interviews. Today I'm here with Isobel May, director of the animated short film Since 1967, world premiering at the festival this August. Thanks so much for sitting down with me, Isabel. How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Probably a little warmer than you are. You are in the UK, you said?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Well, I'll just jump right on in with questions about the short. I mean, we are so lucky to have you in this festival. I mean, I watched it again last night and I was like, yep, still amazing. But I definitely noticed that this film sits at an intersection with a lot of themes of grief, memory, visual storytelling, like feelings of home. So, what was like that first feeling for you, or moment or memory that made you realize you needed to make this film?
It's a really good question. I think I need to preface this with saying like my mum isn't dead. She's well and alive, but I've always been very fascinated with kind of her past and her childhood. She grew up in Australia, which is obviously very far
Mm.
away, and I really like I've always been kind of fascinated with the idea that like a mother existed as a person in her own right before being a mother. And I think the moment for me where that really struck was probably a couple months before I started working on the film. My dad was going through old photos and he found this old photo of my mum from like her 20s, and he it was like just like kind of really spontaneous. He just showed it to me, and I was just really kind of taken aback by it, strangely. I just thought like she looked so like youthful and beautiful, and I was like, wow, she was like a person before I knew her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also just so like poignant there. I mean, yeah, like I feel trying to understand people before we met them in general, but especially for somebody like so important like your mother. Do you think that like the photo kind of aspect kind of influenced you to tell the story through an animated lens rather than live action too?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. The other thing is I study animation in Farnham at the University for the Creative Arts. I've just finished my second year, and this was like my first solo short film for that. So that's obviously part of it. But also, yeah, definitely the photos were such an important aspect. Every photo or every scene that you see in the film is based on a real photo. And while I was working on it, I was also doing a lot of studying and research around animated documentary and the kind of idea that animated documentary, it's a form of like reenactment, and it's kind of me imagining kind of these small snippets and moments and kind of almost projecting onto them, which is something that I kind of wanted to explore. The idea of like romanticizing someone else's life.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. Did you feel like there was more of like an emotional kind of challenge with that or a technical challenge kind of approaching this, or maybe both?
I think a bit of both. The technical challenge of the film came with kind of my medium. I was using Blender, and I'm really interested in kind of hybrid 2D, 3D things. So, kind of nailing down the workflow and the art style for that, that was where the kind of technical difficulties were. But I think I nailed that down pretty early on in production. So, it wasn't too much of an issue. I think where the emotional kind of conflict might have come in was originally this film had a very different tone to it. It was actually narrated by a poem that I wrote, which was more so about kind of grieving a past life of like someone, like grieving on another person's behalf for kind of that girlhood and that childhood and that kind of other life, which is a million miles away. Halfway through production, I was like, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is the story that I want to be telling. So that's when the kind of interview aspect came in. I actually kind of sat down with my mum and talked just kind of through like all the photos, and kind of she just told me all these kind of anecdotes and just kind of her thoughts and feelings about her life and kind of her decisions and all that. And that ended up changing the kind of the film at its heart. And I'm glad I went with that in the end. I think that's what is right for what I wanted to make.
Absolutely. Wow, yeah, I didn't realize it had such a journey from conception to, actually making it. So tonally, you think it shifted more just about girlhood identity to specifically like through the lens of your mother and a kind of girlhood that you like weren't very familiar with as we didn't know her beforehand. It's beautiful. When you were, going through like the animation style, you said you like more 2D, 3D, you use Blender, kind of like I'm thinking of the movie Flow with the cat, since my cat just came across, and things like that. The animation style is very like home video, memory, analog, like found footage, but in a warm, fuzzy way. How is that kind of production? How do you even capture that essence? Is it more like lighting? Was it sound design that you relied on? What was that process?
Well, again, so I use Blender for this, and a part of Blender is the kind of grease pencil feature, which lets you do kind of 2D animation within 3D environments. So I was able to, while having that 2D animation, incorporate kind of very shaky camera movements, and it all gets a bit nerdy. I could start talking about like modifiers and like all that kind of stuff, and but yeah, basically I made it so it had like a very shaky camera feel. And then a lot of it was also just kind of post-production, After Effects. I love After Effects because I mean I'm a firm believer that you can make anything look good in After Effects. Just like slap a bunch of filters on it and it's like it'll look cool. So that's kind of yeah, I had certain effects that I added there to kind of get that fuzziness and the kind
Oh
of
wow.
yeah quality of a home video, and also the aspect ratio um
Mm.
of the film. Technically I was a bit naughty. Technically we're supposed to stick to like um 16 by 9, but I think because I kind of had a reason to go um like kind of an older aspect ratio, my tutors let me get away with it. They were marking it, but yeah.
No, oh my gosh. No, the technical definitely paid off for me as someone who doesn't understand fully how animation composition works like that. Oh my goodness. Did you have any like, visual references on that topic? Films or pictures that kind of I know you were talking about photos, but were there anything outside of the home maybe that inspired it too?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very into like hybrid 2D, 3D animation. So all the kind of feature films with that style, like this sounds like so overused, but Spider-Verse obviously is a big
Definitely.
inspiration for me. And also, this one might be a bit more niche, but this also kind of links back to like me having the original idea for the film. There's a documentary called Stories We Tell by Sarah Polley. She's a Canadian filmmaker, and it's a documentary about kind of like her family history and her mother and this kind of scandal surrounding her mother. And in that, you see like home video footage, but it's really interesting because some of the home video footage is real and some of it is kind of recreated, reenacted, like fake. Like she has like an actress like to play her mother and all that. And it's not until kind of later in the documentary that you realize, wait, have we've not been seeing real footage, have we? So that
Yeah.
kind of stylistically, that's kind of where I got the idea for the visuals of the home video, and the very kind of analog feel.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I always ask everybody, like, what films would you recommend for people to kind of get a taste for your project? And I think we'll have to put that on the list. But when you were making this project, of course, too, it's your mother doing the voiceover, and I was so happy. I was like, oh, I love Australian voices. It's kind of like a southern accent, which is where we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. Did you feel like was that just like sitting down, letting her speak? Was that directed at all? Did that just kind of flow naturally?
Yeah, so it was quite a natural conversation. I mean, I did have to like sneak her into the university, into this like very cold sound booth, and we were all
Oh
kind of
gosh.
cooped up in there. But it was, I think we were talking for about an hour, and I had the photos that I was kind of referencing on my phone, and we just kind of, yeah, it was quite a natural conversation. We just kind of talked through um, like when she went traveling in her 20s, that was a big part that I wanted to talk about because that's where a lot of the photos are from, and just kind of about her childhood and kind of the people she remembers. I obviously it's not very normal for like your mother to like sit you down and tell her, like tell you her whole life story. She obviously grew up in Australia. She was actually born in Papua New Guinea, and yeah, because we're obviously like very far away from there. A lot of stuff to do with like her family, like her side of the family and her childhood. It just doesn't really come up a lot. So I realized there's actually so much that I don't really know about her, despite I would consider being quite close with her. So yeah, it was just kind of I was asking her a lot of questions, but a lot of it was just out of like my own curiosity. But yeah, it was a very um kind of enlightening conversation that we had, on a personal level and also for the film as well. So yeah, that's kind of um chopped up little bits. I mean, obviously there's only about 1 minute probably of audio from that hour of recording that we did. It was just I needed to find like the right snippet of audios and I kind of like spliced them together. I don't think anything she says is taken out of context or kind of manipulated in any way, but it is kind of fragments from that conversation.
Yeah, amazing. I'm so glad you had that conversation. I mean, that sounds like such a, incredible, enriching moment, just not only as an artist, but as a daughter. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah, especially when, the tone of the film too feels a bit like reaching for something lost or, memory and grief, and the actual process was bringing you closer, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've never been to Australia before. My mum hasn't been back in like 25 years. So it was great for me to kind of have that conversation. And we are actually visiting for the first time this summer, which I'm very excited about. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, how cool. Oh my goodness. Would you say the film brought you to maybe that conclusion to like go on this trip? I
I
mean,
mean, we've
facilitated that?
been we've been talking about it for years. Obviously, trips are so expensive nowadays, and every year it's been like, okay, we'll go next year, we'll go next year. So I think it's just coincidence and fortune that finally we're doing it, we're going.
Oh, well, congrats. I know you'll have an amazing time. Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of, artistic journeys, I guess I'll say, how does this project differ for you compared to the other work you've done? Was the fact that it was more emotional in nature more fulfilling or more technically challenging, more fulfilling in a certain way? Was it intimidating at all for you?
It was intimidating in terms of subject matter, just because I really wanted to do it justice, and I kind of this is going to sound so cheesy, but I wanted to make my mum proud, and I think I did in the end. But it was scary to kind of pitch the idea to my tutors and kind of put it out there because I was kind of worried that just like no one would care. Like, okay, so what? A film about your mum? Yeah, but I think a lot of what I want to create is inspired by personal stories. And now that I have the opportunity to work on my own films, I find that's really what I'm drawing from. Because I made this film in my first term of second year. And then for my second term of second year, I made another, probably even more personal film to me specifically, kind of to do with mental health. And now moving on to my final year film, I really want to tap into those themes of family and kind of mental health as well, and kind of the relationship between like nature and nurture and whether like certain mental health conditions are genetic or not, or if it's like all of everything I want to make is kind of based on what I know. I mean, I love like kind of fantasy stories and fiction and other worlds and like fun characters and all that, but when it comes to what I am able to make, I think it's a case of kind of I have to write what I know. Um, so that's kind of why I draw so heavily from my own personal life.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, you do so beautifully. I feel that, I don't see so many explicitly or like directly personal documentary style even stories these days, especially with short films just in the circuit. So it was, such a unique take to see. What was your family's reaction? Since it's such a personal, you said your mentors had a bit of wariness. Did your family, have anything to say other than your mother, of course?
I think my family liked it. I think they were all quite like surprised by the idea. Um, because I it took a while for me to kind of tell my family, oh yeah, I'm making a film about mum. But yeah, and my tutors at uni were always like obviously very supportive of it. I think it was kind of in terms of my family, um, because I feel like animation, like everyone finds it quite a novel thing. Like all of my family members are like, oh, animation, that's interesting, strange, different. So I think that more than anything is kind of what they're reacting to. Um, because they're like, wow, like how did you do that? Like all of that. They're more impressed by, I think, the form rather than the content. But also, I think everyone thought it was quite like thoughtful and kind of a mature subject to take on. So, yeah, I think they liked it. I hope.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Oh gosh. Well, with that form too, I mean, just in an imaginary world, if you had unlimited time, budget, team, everything, where do you think this documentary would expand? Especially, I know.
Oh, that's a great question. I find my mum quite an entertaining character, and all the little kind of stories she tells me from her life. It's like that would make such a fun like little like slice of life, like coming of age little TV series. Yeah, that's what I would do, I think. I've never thought about this before, but yeah, I would do like a little TV series of just like moments from her life. I think she'd make for a very like charming protagonist. And
Oh my
I think
gosh,
I
that's
would kind of focus in on like just the small kind of mundane things. She was quite a naughty teenager from what she tells me. Yeah, she got up to some crazy things. Yeah, I think that's what I would do.
oh my gosh. It'll be Young Sheldon. I don't know if it's popular in the
Yeah,
UK.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, thank you for that answer. I love that. I love that so much. And also just like when people are having the credits roll on this, sadly not long TV series, what do you want people to be kind of sitting there feeling other than wanting more?
I think I just wanted people to come out with like a little bit of like hope, I guess. Like a little bit of like I don't know, because the film kind of ends with her reflecting. I think the specific question that she was responding to, with the little bit at the end was like, do you regret anything? And I was kind of expecting her to be like, yes, I wish I did all of these things different. I wish I never settled down. I wish I lived more life and did crazier things and didn't become a mum. And she was actually like, no, like I don't regret the decisions that I made. Like I made them for a reason, and all I want to do is just kind of make the most of the life that I have and the life that I've made for myself. And I feel like that was I feel like there was kind of a sense of closure to that. Like
Mhm.
there was a sense of peace there where it's like, no, I wouldn't do a thing differently, and kind of I want other people to kind of find some solace in that, yeah, and kind of just feel that peace, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. No, it definitely ends on such a warm note with the teddy bear. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I had to include that. I couldn't help myself.
Oh, it was so cute. I'm so grateful you did.
Yeah. No, she still has that teddy. It's upstairs and it is in tatters. It's unrecognizable.
Oh gosh. It was well loved. It was well loved.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess as we're somewhat wrapping up towards the end of the interview here, I'll also just ask like, from this process, your mother sounds like an incredible woman. I know that just asking a lot about her is, you know, that's a focus of this story. And your relationship with her. Is there any way that your life living it now has changed since you had this long conversation and, she has no regrets and just living in such a, profound way, I guess.
I understand her a bit more now. I think I respect her. I mean, I already obviously like respected her, but I think I respect her on an even deeper level now. Um, because I mean, if I was in her position, like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be a housewife living in the UK. Like, if I could have like lived in Australia my whole life and done loads of crazy things and had a career and stuff. Yeah, but the fact that like she doesn't regret a thing, yeah, I respect that so much. And I think I understand why she kind of does the thing she does. Yeah. I feel like I've always been quite close with her, but now I get her. like on
Yeah.
a deeper level. So yeah.
And that's an incredible reward in and of itself. I mean, that speaks in the film, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Well, I did kind of touch on this before, but I do kind of ask everybody for like a letterboxed four of like movies they would recommend for people kind of warming up to the festival to see your film, or after if they want a bit of a taste of more. I know you kind of gave us one or two, but if you want to round us out with anything else, and you can include
Yeah.
music too.
Oh, music. I every project that I work on, I make a playlist for it.
That
So
sooner.
yeah, in terms of films, definitely Stories We Tell by Sarah Polley, definitely. In terms of music, I would definitely say Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift. I'm a big Swiftie, so she makes
Oh
my
my
way onto a lot of
goodness.
the playlists. Hold on, give me 2 seconds to look at my Spotify. Yeah, definitely a lot of Killers songs were on there. All These Things That I've Done by the Killers and Smell
Oh,
Like You
that's
Mean It, definitely. Also, just some of her favourites. I know that she really loves Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits. That's definitely one. And she's also a big ABBA fan. I definitely had kind of a lot of her favourite kind of artists playing when I was working on this film because we share a lot of favorite artists in common. Definitely ABBA. Oh my god, Slipping Through My Fingers by ABBA. I
oh
don't know
my
how
god.
big is ABBA big in the States? It's like big as it is here.
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
had I think they made a second Mamma Mia movie
Yeah.
with American actors. Like it's pretty big
Yeah.
here.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, definitely. Kind of anything
Yeah.
that kind of has a sense of nostalgia to it.
Oh my gosh, well that's amazing. I wish I could sit here and talk with you all day about the music. I wish I'd asked about that sooner. But and thank you so much for sitting down with me.
No
Everybody
worries.
watching should come and see Since 1967 by Isabel May here at the
Wish I
Athens
could
Film
be there.
Festival. We wish you could be here too.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, oh, what's the quickest way to make enough money to get on a flight to America? It's like, oh, but I'll be there in spirit.
Yes, you will. We'll play some ABBA for you.
Yes,
I'll
yes,
add it to the
please.
show
I
playlist.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Isabel, where can the people find more about you and your projects?
Okay, I have an Instagram at yit.ling.animation. Um, and that's basically where I'm most active, always posting updates and stuff. I would give you like my LinkedIn and my YouTube channel, but those are very neglected. So yeah, my our Instagram is the best way to find me. I've just finished a film that hopefully I'll be submitting to festivals soon, and I'm also gearing up to start working on my grad film for next year. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh my gosh. Well, in the meantime, we'll gear up for your world premiere here. Tickets are on sale now at athensfilm.com, and we can't wait to see what else you do. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, have a great rest of your night.
Yes, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Bye.